Hello and welcome to the show. We have another old versus new rivalry for you today. This week it is the Ferrari FXX against the Ferrari 312 PB. Now, we start with the FXX here, and this is a car that I don't really see the point of it. It's a bit of a case of, look, we built a car, it's really fast, but you can't use it for anything because it sits in the Ferrari garage and we only occasionally let you out to play with it, and it doesn't go in any race series. And yeah, it just seems a little bit pointless. It cost a fortune, $2 odd million, euros, pounds, something like that. It costs a lot of money. You don't ever own it. Yeah, it's a bit pointless. It's a fast car, don't get me wrong. It's a quick race car, but I don't see the point in it. I'm not a huge fan of it. Although I do like the exhaust coming out of the taillights. That's kind of
the only thing you like about it?
Well, kind of, yeah.
Right, this is a car that you can race in a series. This is the Ferrari 312P, which is what it's called on Forza, but it's officially known as the 312PB. This was because, well, they didn't want to get it confused with the 312P that was made before this, so they then named it the 312PB, which isn't confusing at all.
Silly Ferrari, not making any sense.
Yeah, so yeah, this was a Group 6 sports prototype car when it first came out in '71. And it raced in the World Sports Car Prototype Championship, and then they redesignated it as a Group 5 car the following year because of reasons. This is just basically a glorified go-kart, as we sort of named it. So that's the title we've given it since we've both driven it. It's insane.
It's easier to call it a go-kart than a 312 PB. It doesn't fly very well. So it shall from now on be known as the go-kart. It's just the easiest way to classify it. Anyway, to kind of have a comparison of these two, we're going to do a 6-lap race around Road Atlanta long. Now, off the start line, the go-kart is much faster, accelerating, although I do have a bit of a cheeky lunge and somehow managed to get away with that in the first corner. In all fairness, the go-kart should have had a much bigger lead, as it gets very sideways through there. That's a bit scary. I wouldn't want to be driving that.
It was quite scary through that corner, actually, on cold tyres.
Yeah, off the start line, the go-kart should have actually had a bigger lead. It was a bit of a poor start from Daniel there, and that gave me kind of enough of a chance to kind of have a bit of a dive into that first corner. But as you can see, the minute you get on a straight, out of any corner, the acceleration on that thing,
the go-kart is gone.
It's phenomenally fast. I'm trying to battle here. I'm trying to make a sort of a fight of it a little bit. Had a dive going onto the corner, sort of whatever corner number that is, onto the straight, but it's just gone again. It's weaving a little bit all over the road there as you try and get it under control.
Yeah, but, cold tyres again.
Yeah, there's really nothing you can do. Actually, interestingly, both of these cars, you actually notice the difference between cold and warm tyres on these things, especially on that go-kart. Yeah, but on the FXX it is as well.
Yeah,
doesn't happen with a lot of cars. I slightly lock a brake up going into there, but you really do notice the difference on these. And these cars are sort of driven on such a fine edge. That's why you notice that kind of a difference, because both of these cars, you're on such a fine line between going fast and having a tremendous accident, as I'm now trying to find a way back past. I know I have to get past. If there's any chance of me kind of winning this, I have to kind of defend and slow you down, so I take a dive at the first corner again. The one redeeming characteristic of the FXX is the brakes. The brakes are really very good on it. They are noticeably better than that of the go-kart, which is odd, because Forza reckons that statistics are the go-kart has better brakes.
Yeah, they got that a little bit wrong, I think.
Yeah, it's completely wonky. Handling-wise, the FXX, it's just not
a little bit better,
good.
I would say.
It's probably a little bit more stable. I think the thing with the FXX is it's fairly stable up until a point, at which point you will have a tremendous accident because you're not expecting it to suddenly give out on you. Whereas the go-kart is just unstable the entire time. So you're kind of prepared almost that it's going to have a go sideways, be unpredictable. Whereas the FXX, it'll be all right up until a point, but you won't necessarily know where that point is unless you've driven the car a lot, and then it's quite scary. I'm not really a fan of the FXX, in all honesty. It's a fast car. It handles okay. It's just a bit generic almost. It's kind of like every other R3 race car you'll use. It's a bit slidey, doesn't really have enough grip. If it had more downforce, it would probably be a serious, it would be a close rivalry between these two, because the grip of the FXX would kind of counter the straight line speed of the go-kart, but as it is, it just can't keep up. I just can't do anything about that go-kart.
Yeah, that's the thing about it's not necessarily as good on the brakes or as good through the corners, but on the straight it can pull at such a big gap. The only problem I would say with this is if you try and drive the standard car at least round somewhere like Road America, you will struggle with the gearing because it's only got 5 gears. Okay, admittedly it's an old car, it's over 40 years old, but it's only got 5 gears, and I was pretty much, I think I was near the red line in 5th gear on the end of the straight here, and I think it tops out about 170, 175, not much after that.
Yeah, the FXX is technically quicker if you have a long enough straight, but
Road America
Road Atlanta,
it would be better.
Yeah, Road America, the FXX would probably be quicker than it. Road Atlanta has a really long straight. For a conventional racetrack, this has a really long straight.
Long, yeah.
And even then, the FXX was only just starting to catch at the very end of it.
It's just the way it accelerates. I mean, the drive out of the corners, admittedly, I mean, this thing has got... well, you look at the rear tyres, I think they're about 345s or 355, something stupid, something ridiculously wide. So you get so much drive out of the corner, it is absolutely insane. But even so, it's still, you're on the edge all the time. Whereas the FXX, you sort of know... you don't know when the limit's there. And as soon as you cross it, that's it. This, you're on the limit all the time, so it's more predictable.
It's
in a
predictable
weird way.
because it's unpredictable. Yeah, that makes sense.
It's predictable in a weird way.
I will also point out that I was quite a long way behind, but that was because I made a mistake. I was pushing the car too hard. So it should have been a bit closer than that. Anyway, it's now time to hand both cars over to the stick to get a completely fair comparison of them, and he's going to do a lap of the test track. Now, both of these cars are R3. They are both 800 PI, so they are supposedly identical cars. Off the start line and coming to the first corner, you can already see the advantage the go-kart has. That's quite impressive from just pure acceleration. As far as comparing them to anything goes, well, we haven't had too many R3 cars really. The Lamborghini Sesto Elemento is really the only thing that's even vaguely close to these, so it should be interesting to see how they compare to that. And of course you've got the rivalry between the pair of them. As we come in towards the hammerhead, yeah, the go-kart's already pulled a fair
big lead.
And these are supposedly equal cars. The FXX is a little bit sideways.
I'm pretty sure they got the PI system a little bit wrong here.
I think there is a little bit too kind to the PB. I think the go-kart should have a bit higher PI. Go through the tyre wall. They're both incredibly fast through there. The go-kart falls off the road a little bit there, just dips a wheel.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Just a tiny bit. However, as they come into the second to last corner, the superior brakes of the FXX do allow it to catch up a little bit through there. The go-kart is across the line. There goes the FXX as well. So it's a very fast lap time from both of them. We always knew it was going to be pretty damn quick. We also know that the go-kart has won. However, how have they compared to everything else, and what are the actual lap times of them? Well, the Ferrari 312 PB did a lap time of 1 minute 7.9. That's blooming fast.
Pretty damn quick for an R3 car.
That's half a second slower than a Suzuki Hill Climb car that's R1. That's
impressive.
Really very fast. The FXX did a 1 minute 8.9, which is also pretty damn quick. It's only a second off the go-kart, which isn't too bad. And you look at it, what it's around, it's so much faster than a Sesto Elemento, which is a mid kind of R3 car.
But that is four-wheel drive and a proper road car.
No, the Sesto is road.
No, it's not road legal.
It's not road legal, I don't think, but it is four-wheel drive and it is only a mid R3 car. But still, I'd say that's a fairly impressive time from the FXX. Either way, out of the two of the cars, I think it's fairly straightforward which one you would have.
It's got to be the PB, isn't it?
It's got to be the 312 PB. It's
one you actually own it.
Well, yeah. First of all, you can actually own one. Also, it's significantly cheaper. The 312 costs 1.6 million credits. The Ferrari FXX costs 2.5 million credits. Yeah, I'm going to go for the go-kart. It's just so much more fun to drive. Although, given the money, if you want a fast and lightened Ferrari, I would have an F50 GT, which is 1.2 million credits.
I would have an F40C.
Yeah, which is also cheaper at 1.5 million credits. Both of them are cheaper and faster than the FXX, and in fact the go-kart. The go-kart does have a bit of racing heritage, so that's why it's a bit more expensive. But why wouldn't you have an F50 GT over an FXX? I don't know. But anyway, I can see another rivalry between that F50 and F40 at some point. That could be fun.
That would be a good one, actually.
That will be a close one. Anyway, that is it for today. So thank you very much for watching. If you have an old versus new or a general rivalry you would like to see us do, then please do leave them in the comment section. We will have a look through and we will pick our favourites, and they'll be in a video at some point. However, if you want to suggest a rivalry, that's cool. We'd like to hear your ideas. However, it has to be between two cars that are actually vaguely evenly matched, kind of within 100 pi, the biggest kind of difference. I've seen a few suggestions of like the R35 against the R32 Skyline. What's the point? I know who's going to win. It's very simple. Or an old 911 versus a new 911. We know what's going to win. So yeah,
we're talking about proper actually driving the cars, racing them,
yeah,
not just as comparison in general.
Yeah, this is an actual kind of a racing comparison of the two. So if they're fairly similar PI, then and will generate an interesting race, then that's the kind of thing that we are looking for at the moment. Anyway, that is it for today. So thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.
Bye all.